How's it going, everybody? I got y'all a video clip about somebody sharing who owns the porn industry. A lot of people don't know who does. At one point, I didn't know. But y'all check out the video and y'all can see for yourself. This is for entertainment purposes only. Shalom.
So I was once again doing more research and I want to show you some patterns that I started to notice. Now, if you don't know what I'm referencing to, you can look at the video that I published yesterday where I basically show you some of the patterns that I have noticed on the dating app culture or the dating app, hookup app, movement, whatever you want to call that. So as you may or may not know, I am talking about the porn star industry, the OnlyFans type of industry. You guys know what I'm talking about. So just like I did yesterday, I will show you the patterns and then you tell me if they align to something greater. So did you guys know that as of May 2023, OnlyFans has over 220 million registered users and more than 3 million registered creators? Now, this is from May 2023. This could have increased or decreased by now since we are in 2024, but that should give you a grasp as to how big the OnlyFans platform truly is. Now, who is behind this platform? This is the man behind the OnlyFans platform. His name is Leo Radvinsky. So when we go ahead and look into his life, we see that he was born in Odessa and his family later emigrated to Chicago when he was a child. He graduated from the Northwestern University with a degree in economics. He is Jewish. Let's see if we can find more patterns. Let's just leave it right here. I won't tell you my opinion, but let's move on to the next pattern. Actually, before I move on, I want to show you this little portion from an article that comes from Forbes, because OnlyFans, the company, likes to say that their primary target is not the porn industry, even though we clearly know that they are lying. Leo has a history with the porn industry, as you can see from here. Now, in 2018, he bought a stake in OnlyFans from the UK-based Kelly family, who founded it in 2016, and now he is the owner of the site. He has also paid himself more than 500 million in dividends in 2021 and 2022 as users spent a record of $1.8 billion on the platform. Okay, so since I've given you more context, let's just leave it there, move on to the next one. Now, why don't we go to another giant in the industry, which is Pornhub? Now, as I was looking into the statistics for this site, I was actually overwhelmed by how many users there are on this platform. So there are about 48 billion with a B visits in 2019. That's 2019, that was years ago. And yet that is an average of about 115 million visits per day, which is absolutely insane. And then as you can see below, you can see that the target audience for this company is at the younger crowds. It should be noted that this company, Pornhub, does not release a lot of their statistics all of the time. So we have to go off whenever they feel like releasing their stats. Anyways, who owns this gigantic platform that can affect how people view intimacy, relationships, and just the act of sex altogether? Well, you tell me why a rabbi owns Pornhub. Now, his name is Solomon Freeman. As you can see, he is a Jewish attorney and a rabbi, and his private equity firm took over MindGeek, which owns Pornhub. So this is a huge umbrella corporation, which is the same case for all of the dating apps I showed you in the last video, but the rabbit hole goes even deeper. Now, I found this so interesting how most articles about this person, Solomon Freeman, the way they portray him in these articles, it's almost like glorifying who this man is and making him out to be an angel. So just to read a couple sentences from the Ottawa Citizen, just look at the first lines of this article. It says that Solomon Freeman is an organ donor, a firearms advocate, and an ordained rabbi. He is an investor, philanthropist, and a pornography magnate. And then it also says he's a defense lawyer. So like every little way that they describe this man, it's almost glorifying him and who he is. Even the headline of this passage says he's on a mission to save Pornhub. Like, this is almost a complete contradiction between what's real and how the media portrays this man. But that is not all, because the rabbit hole goes so much deeper, guys. By the way, did you know that Pornhub had another co-founder by the name of David Tassillo? Now, it is often difficult to find a lot of details on these people. I feel like they are not very public on purpose. Although I was able to find this, which says that he is reportedly of Jewish descent. And I also want you to notice the way that they write about this man as well. It says he comes from a loving, supportive, tight-knit family, and he has an extensive background in the field of engineering. Why is it that these articles, and they're all written like this, like in a way to glorify these people and place them on a pedestal? It is really bizarre. And if you guys do your own research, you will come to this realization. Anyways, are you guys starting to see this pattern? Yes or no? Let's move on. Because did you know that the giant umbrella corporation that owns Pornhub went by the name of MindGeek, but then they rebranded again after they were getting a lot of controversy with minors? And I will leave that there. So now they go by the name of ILO. And how many companies does ILO own? You'd be shocked to hear that ILO owns, in terms of volume and users, I can comfortably say about 90% of this industry. They own Brazzers, Reality Kings, Twisties, Mofos, Reality Dudes, Man.com. But that's not even all, guys. Like I mentioned earlier, they own Pornhub, YouCorn, RedTube, Tube8. Then they have an entire marketplace for this business and this industry as a whole, which includes My Dirty Hobby and however you pronounce that. But that's not all, because they also go into the field of gaming and advertising networks. If I had to put a guess on this, I can easily say that they hold over 1 billion users between all of the companies that they own. This umbrella, this giant umbrella corporation, easily over 1 billion users. So you have to wonder, this gigantic umbrella corporation that owns all of these companies can effectively control psychologically how relationships go on about in our modern age, how men view women, how women view men, how both sexes objectify each other. They have destroyed the act of intimacy. They have made something that used to be sacred and holy, and they have pimped it out to something that's dirty, transactional, and utterly disgusting. Because, as I don't know if you guys know about this, but many of these companies have been involved with very disgusting cases that involve children. I'll leave it there. But that's not all, guys. It goes even further than this. Did you know that ILO itself is not even the final company, but it's actually owned by another company? So the umbrella company has an owner. What is going on? Now, the owners of ILO, who owns all of these different companies, goes by the name of Ethical Capital Partners. Can that be any more ironic? And look, our friend Solomon Friedman is part of Ethical Capital Partners, and he's the VP in compliance. Now, there are a bunch of higher ups within this company that no matter how hard I tried, there was very scarce information about them. So I couldn't check whether the pattern continued, because the very small amount of information that I have from these people is through a summary that is provided by them, not by us at all, right? Through their own website. So there's very little information about the rest of the owners or the rest of the board that controls this company, that controls ILO, that controls all of these other companies. So this is bizarre, and there is, again, just a lot of patterns that I hope you guys were able to catch on to. And they purposely make this information as obscure as possible, but I will try my best to expose as much as I can from my future research.